What is up, amigos? So I think it's that time to give you my honest feedback and opinions on Diablo 4 Season 2 and what we know so far based off of the developer stream that took place on Wednesday, on the 4th. First and foremost, if you're new here, hello, welcome to the channel. This channel was primarily created around Diablo-related content. Recently, I've decided to branch out temporarily due to the obvious problems the game faces. Now, I genuinely think that we're on the upswing of the resurrection of Diablo 4, because despite what many say, which I respect, I really do, the game straight up died. And being a Blizzard game, that is a shocker to many. So let's start off with going over the biggest takeaways from the dev stream the team hosted on Wednesday. Now, I will be referencing a lot of Wowhead articles throughout the video for ease of viewing. And yeah, let's go ahead and start off with the biggest change in Season 2. We are getting actual content worth talking about. 5 new bosses to farm, a brand new endgame activity. We are still yet to see the new class balance changes. We got new unique reworks. I mean, it's looking really good. So let's start off with one of the new bosses, which isn't actually a new boss, but he is farmable. And each new boss in Season 2 has their own unique loot table. So it makes it worth mentioning. Varshan is back. Varshan is the last boss from the first season. And I'll be honest here, I'm not a huge fan of this. Mainly because the boss, I don't think, was a great boss to begin with. I don't think the mechanics were hard enough at all. Unless they reworked Varshan's mechanics, don't expect much out of this. It'll be a piece of cake. Now, before we dive into the other bosses, let's go over how they expect the overall progression to go for Season 2. Now, during the dev stream, they presented this chart. This gives you an idea of how they want everything to go and how everything is going to go, I should say. So in the second and third brackets between 50 and 70 and 71 to 100, you can see Echoes of Varshan are directly tied to Whispers now. The Diablo team are very keen on players participating in doing their Whispers and making it worth your time. So in Season 2, you absolutely want to do them. Each Whisper you complete in Season 2 has a chance to drop the fragments to summon Varshan, and the fragments are something that is going to be useful both for Varshan and just fragments in general are this new thing that they're coming out with for the bosses. Each boss has a set fragment that you can get and obtain through various activities, and we'll go over that. Once you've farmed enough, you'll have to complete a short dungeon, much like Season 1, to get to the end where you'll sacrifice those fragments to summon Varshan. You can start getting these fragments from Whispers as early as World Tier 3. Now, there is another boss you can start collecting fragments for and killing in World Tier 3, and that is Grigor, the Galvanic Saint. You can obtain these fragments by chance every time you open a Helltide chest. When you open a chest, you will receive Infernal Steel. When you collect enough Infernal Steel, again, you'll be able to summon Grigor. It's unknown if you can only summon Grigor during Helltide. Honestly, it would make the most sense seeing as you can only get the Infernal Steel during active Helltides. I do believe it was confirmed once you get the Infernal Steel, it does not disappear from your inventory like cinders when Helltides are over. So, nothing to worry about. Once you make it to World Tier 4, you can then start making progress towards summoning and defeating the next 3 bosses. Now, totally disregard the 50 to 70 and 71 to 100 on their charts. There is no level requirement to partake in these bosses. This is what they think the average level of players when they go into World Tier 3 and 4 are. Most people are not going in the World Tier 4 at 70 plus. They are going in way sooner. Now, Duriel, a familiar character in Diablo, has returned yet again, which we already seen in Diablo 4. This time, he is back as Diablo 4's second official Uber boss. Now, I am extremely happy about this. I loved the boss fights of Diablo 4. I was one of the people who wanted them to re-release the boss fights, let us farm them. This is a step in the right direction for sure. Now, Duriel has a unique way of being summoned as well, and that's from killing Grigor and Varshan only in World Tier 4, as they have a chance to drop fragments when you kill them that spawn Duriel. Now again, it's unknown how many fragments we need of each, however, Duriel is the boss to target in Season 2 because it has been announced that Duriel has a significantly higher chance at dropping Uber Uniques than anything else in the game. Blizzard has said that you will see more people wearing Uber Uniques in Season 2. And if you have Duriel on farm, you may even get to enjoy these coveted items yourself. Now, I think this is a fantastic addition to Diablo 4, something we absolutely needed. Uber Lilith is practically pointless to farm. It's more of a feat of strength more than anything. I think it would be a great addition actually to split the Uber unique pool into both of these Uber bosses, because many people, including myself, feel no need to kill an Uber Lilith more than just the first time. But regardless, this is a huge step in the right direction, and I support it fully. Now let's talk about the fourth new farmable boss, the Great Beast in Ice. This boss is specifically targeted for Nightmare dungeons. Once you run tier 31 or higher, once you complete the dungeon, you'll have a chance of obtaining these fragments, and once you gather enough, of course, you'll be able to craft a special Nightmare sigil to enter the Beast lair. Now this boss, there was stated that they have some sort of special loot table, and I'm pretty excited to see what we can obtain. My guess is that it can drop augmented armor that comes with allocated vampiric powers, maybe even leveled up already, but I guess we'll find out soon. The last and final farmable boss is of course Lord Zir, the main antagonist, which was announced in the dev stream. Prior to the dev stream, this is the main antagonist of season 2. Much like Varshan, there is a normal, easier version of Lord Zir, and when you defeat him, he has a chance to also drop fragments that allows you to summon a more powerful version. It is not an Uber version, it is just more powerful, sort of like what they did with Varshan. Hopefully it's a bit more challenging. The way you get fragments for Lord Zir are specifically from world bosses, which, if you haven't heard, have now had their spawn times almost cut in half, from 6-hour spawns to 3.5, and you can also obtain the fragments from Legion events as well. Again, it's worth noting that you can only get these in World Tier 4. All 5 new bosses, again, have new unique loot tables with their own specific uniques, just another way of target farming. These uniques will definitely be the new uniques coming with Season 2, and all in all, I love that the team is listening to community feedbacks in regards to farmable bosses, and this is just a huge step that they needed to make to Diablo 4 to make it feel like an ARPG with farmable content that allows their players to dive in and have a purpose for playing hours upon hours. I do not agree with the concept of if you want to play another game, then go play another game. I think that's a easy way out, and I think we just want to play the game that we want to play, and if that so happens to be Diablo 4, we need a purpose to play it. Now let's go ahead and talk about some other new features, one of which is the 22 new vampiric powers. Now I'm going to be blunt about it. The Malignant Hearts in Season 1 were trash. I never liked them. I hated the idea of locking certain powers behind classes instead of all of them being able to be used globally between all classes. And on top of that, let's be honest, there was only one heart that everyone used, which was the Barber, and allowed everyone to cheese their way through anything in the game. Vampiric powers have fixed that, it seems like, and they come in their own unique twist, much like Malignant Hearts and Jewelry. Instead, vampiric powers are now tied directly to armor and what they call packs: Ferocity, Divinity, and Eternity. These are needed to activate your powers. Some vampiric powers need 3 Eternity packs, while others may need 3 Divinity. Then you have major vampiric powers that calls for 6 maximum of a specific pack, so it really makes itemization a bit more in depth, which was another complaint that people had. Now you can also loot individual packs to apply to your armor as long as you don't already have the maximum packs on that piece. There's also a new item that we'll be able to see, Cleanse and Acids, that allow you to remove all packs to totally re-roll and min-max to your liking. These are looted from the new vampiric monster family, acquired from the questline, season journeys, new lootable coffins, and the Blood Harvest event. Speaking of which, you can equip what looks like 5 total vampiric powers on the fly, I might add. I would imagine you are capped at 1 major, but each vampiric power can also be upgraded to level 3. Killing vampires in Season of the Blood reward you with potent blood, which is what you need to upgrade said powers. This is an entire new window devoted to our vampiric power wheel, allowing easy access that you can see in your character screen, and doesn't require us to go to a bench every time we need to do something or swap stuff around. These vampiric powers can be unlocked by partaking in the seasonal questline and from the new Blood Harvest seasonal event, which we can participate in, that acts very much like Hell Tides, but we can also accept bounties and other things. When you complete these bounties, world events, rituals, etc., you'll gain reputation. With this reputation, you climb through the ranks, allowing you to turn in your acclaim for rewards like materials, consumables, and items, meaning this is just another way of target farming those much needed legendary powers and possibly even uniques. Now uniques, not only are we getting brand new uniques and legendary powers, but almost all unique items already in Diablo 4 will be getting a complete rework. As we know, about 95% of uniques in D4 were utterly trash, and for the most part useless. They are very niche situations for some and very off-meta builds that use them. Unless you were a druid, you weren't using uniques, let's be honest with each other here. So this is also amazing news, because that just means that that's the potential for far more builds. And we get to hear about more of the reworks for uniques come October 10th's next dev stream, which also goes over the class balance changes and how they're tackling the new damage bucket reworks to crit damage, vuln, and overpower. With all of these changes, the new bosses, new class balances, new bucket changes, Diablo 4 is about to change again and feel like a completely new game. Again. And this time, I honestly think it's for the better, and we actually know it's coming. If you've been following the channel, you know how I've felt about Diablo 4, my passion for the franchise, and how much I enjoy making content for the game. I can't wait to get back in. I'll be updating all my build guides for Season 2 after the patch notes release on the 10th and throughout Season 2. We'll start tackling those, and I hope there's more builds to come with the vampiric powers and the new legendary powers, the rework to uniques, the class balances, and as always, amigos, don't forget to like and comment. It helps out so much, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more Diablo 4 content, and until next time, take care.